On the Broadcasting Corporation of your state. Of course, it's another edition of the program this morning, and you know that we often start on a beautiful note. My name is Jadi Sola Ajibola, and of course, we'll be taking you through stories from the dailies, and then after which I will serve you with the governor's activities, and then we'll go to Travelogue. We'll also take you through the interview segment. I will wrap it up with global updates. That's what we have for you this morning on the program.
All right, I'm taking you through the dailies. I have the Saturday Tribune here with me. And on the front page, you know, we will always talk about politics. We have stories on pages 8 and 25. It says, why I am asking courts to deregister NDC. Ado ADA promoter speaks on relationship with Obi Kokonso. And on page 15, Sultan commissions Oshobo Central Mosque, harps on proper maintenance. On page 3, Awo's 39th memorial anniversary, patronal service hold today. And that story is on page 3. And moving on to page 5, gunmen kill 13, injure many in Plateau community. It's unfortunate we have to keep talking about issues in the North Central. And that story is on page 5. And on page 4, 2024, Jonathan challenges suit seeking his disqualification. ADC crisis. Nafi Balagombe asks courts to transfer suit against Mark, others to another judge. And the writer says court adjourns hearing indefinitely. Indefinite adjournment contradicts Supreme Court ruling, and that's coming from ADC. All stories on page 5. No hantavirus case recorded in Nigeria amid global cruise ship cluster, and that's coming from NCDC. And this has been, a concerning development for the past few days. I think for the past 1 week now, we've been seeing updates on the hantavirus. So whatever it is you need to do to make sure you stay safe. Of course, it's been confirmed, no recorded cases in Nigeria, but let's still be safe and vigilant. And lastly, on the front page of Saturday Tribune this morning, my wife deserted me 4 months after we got married, took to prostitution abroad. And that story is on page 12 and runs through page 21. And taking some of the inside stories, starting with page 3. I can defeat Tinubu at poll, Atiku during primary. Ayatuddin says that Tinubu has delivered transformative developmental projects in the north. Wike dismisses NBS criticism of judicial housing projects. Court dismisses Showere's no-case submission on federal government cyber stalking charges over criminal comments against Tinubu. And lastly on this page, we have 2027. Miyetti Allah president declares senatorial ambition, mobilizes northern votes for Tinubu. Moving on, page 6, doctors said they couldn't see my kidney properly. Tumor had covered it. Osifeso, 2-time cancer survivor, and that story is on page 6. Moving on to more stories. On the back page of Saturday Tribune, if you don't smoke cigarettes, you won't be afflicted with Indian hemp. And that's a review according to a book. Moving on to a Vox Pop we have here on page 27. It says, what is your take on CBN ban on foreign currency payments for diaspora remittances starting from May 1, 2026? Of course, we have responses from Nigerians on that particular page. Amechi obtains ADC presidential nomination form. Still on the same page. Why I am seeking another term in the Lagos Assembly, and that's coming from Desmond Elliott. So moving on to the back page where we have some sports stories, and that's on page 30 and 31. Adams downplays EPL links. Amuson leads 44 others to Ghana for African tourney. Olokpadelot, First Lady over support for sports. Players set for NPA Ibadan International Polo Tournament. And lastly, we have Timber could miss rest of the season. And that's coming from Ateta. And that's all we have on Saturday Tribune. Over to you, Chadisola.
Thank you very much, Fumbi. All right, we'll take some of the stories that made the headline inside the Nation newspaper this morning. On the front page, the major story there says nomination battles hot up in APC ADC. The story is on page 4 with some riders there. APC panel screen Sani Sharif Alea Nwafodu others. Amechi Ayatudin pick ADC presidential nomination forms. NDC set for national convention in Abuja today. Still on page 4, ADC, Northfield Bala Gombe 6, transfer of case against Mark Arebeshola. The story is on page 4. On page 3, gunmen killed 13 injured scores in fresh Plateau attack. Tinubu wades into Progressive Governors Forum coup. APC governors reaffirm confidence in Uzodinma. On page 3, woman childless for 14 years dies after delivering a quadruplet. That's on page 3. Ayedatiwa pledges support for family, donates money. All right, still on the front page, PDP Wike loyalists reaffirm control over Wadata Plaza, 2 other structures. Party dismisses CTC of Supreme Court judgment as fake. Jonathan folds suit querying his eligibility to contest election. Judge schedule hearing for May 11th. All right, let's look at some of the inside stories of this morning. And there we have on page 5. On page 5, we have the story, FG begins payment of power sector legacy debt. NDC set for national convention in Abuja today amid defection surge. On other pages, page 6 and 7, Tinubu has delivered laudable project in the north. That's coming from RHA. We also have there Naira sustained rally at official window, closing at 1,355 Naira to dollar. The story is on page 6. On the commentary page, who needs another Operation Wete? The story is on page 7. Is this South Africa's reward for our love, governance, national ethic, and succession planning? The story is equally there. On page 9, Peter Obi, the political nomad, moves again. Energy transition towards net zero carbon emission in Nigeria. And on page 10, Ruben Fasiroti, last centennial of the Awolowo golden generation. All right, on page 10, $18 billion no longer leaking. The mathematics of Nigeria all come back. That story is there. On page 12, brilliant ballot guide adequately deployed during election. That's coming from INEC. And of course, we have Olympic torch bearer turned construction site worker in fresh agony. The story is on page 13. All right, let's go to some other stories there for this morning. All right, we have on page 19, Saturday Politics, crisis creeps into Edo APC. And page 19, 20, Tinubu deserves re-election. That's coming from Mimiko. And of course, 2027, Tushima declares senatorial bid. Grassroots surge versus incumbency in Oshodi, Isolo APC primary. 2027, stakeholders, leaders in Apapa constituency 1 endorsed Lagos Deputy Speaker, purchase present nomination form. And we'll come to page 23, seeking greener pasture above music career. Sanwo-Olu Olu of Warri to attend on different grounds premiere. All right, I still get money from Davido. Sorry, I beg your pardon. I still get money from my dad, says Davido. Wow. Portable sets to release new song after Boxing Day. I don't know how much Davido's father is going to give him, except if something is actually wrong. I don't know. All right, on page 24, Eddie Watson, my dream is bigger than fame. All right, on the People's page, on page 25, rejecting ranches in southern states was erroneous. That's coming from Badmus. And of course, remembering a quintessential monarch, Oba SK Adetono GCON. Right on page 27, Omolayo, re-elected ADC chair in Ekiti. Kogi road accident claims 16 lives, Osun 2026. Accord APC trade blame over destruction of Adeleke's billboard. Add flight rearrangement at Gateway Airport, not rejection by Saudi airline. That's coming from Ogun government. Sultan Commission ultra-modern mosque built by business Mongol Badmos at 80. All right, we have other stories there this morning. Let's go to page 28. Army boss illegal arm depot, recover a catch of arms in play 2. Olapa louds Wada's breakthrough in IVF birth. IFG laments low contribution of solid mineral sector to nation's economy. 25-year anniversary, 35 million Nigerians have taken NECO exam. That's coming from registrar. All right, we also have there Imo Oil Community intensified push for governorship ahead of 2027 Red Cross Day. Compassion key to building resilient society. That's coming from Soludo. Gunmen in military uniform abduct Anambra Hospital CMD. Enugu slams 500,000 naira fine. Order psychiatric test on one-way driver. I beg your pardon, one-way driving offenders. Abia CP warns personnel against extrajudicial killings. And we'll come to page 30. Bayelsa judge kidnap police arrest kingpin 5 months after. All right, tension brew in ODD community over leadership dispute. Resignation trigger cabinet rejig as overall reassign commissioners. All right, and on the back page, World Cup heads should roll. That story, no, you have again Sunday Diary storms the book stand. Those are the stories that made the headline from The Nation newspaper of this morning.
All right, moving on to what we have for you next is the governor's activities through the course of the week. Stay with us.
The Oyo State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, joined other dignitaries at the traditional wedding ceremony of Olamide Shobowale, daughter of Nollywood actress Shola Shobowale, and her groom Adekunle. Speaking at the event, Governor Makinde emphasized the importance of building a strong and enduring relationship, noting that true friendship remains the foundation of a successful marriage. He also charged the couple's parents to provide the necessary support for the newlyweds, stressing that a husband's success and progress in his career are often strengthened by the full backing of his wife.
Decided on his own position, to say, look, I'll take you for the rest of my life. So while you're playing the masterly role, you also have to remember that he took a decision because he felt there will be protection for him from you.
The governor was accompanied to the ceremony by the State Commissioner for Lands, Housing, and Urban Development, Mr. Akinfumilayo Williams.
All right, thank you very much for staying with us. Moving on, it's time for Travelogue. Yes, you know we take you different places. This morning, we'll be looking at Arinta Waterfall. Stay with us.
This is Arinta Waterfall, located in Ikole, Ilaro, Ekiti West Local Government area of Ekiti State. The Arinta Waterfall is a wonder to behold as the water cascades down the rocky hills from a great height to form a flowing pool of spring water in the middle of natural forest vegetation. The waterfalls has 7 levels and wonderful attraction at each of the level, which will hold the tourist spellbound to the wonders of nature. The BCOS crew guide revealed to us that at one of the higher levels of the waterfalls is a mysterious stone, which is about 25 centimeters in diameter. But it is mysteriously heavy that the strongest of all men in the world cannot lift it. The sound of the waterfalls as it plunges down the hills is loud enough to send jitters down the spine of a coward. The community that harbors the Anita waterfalls is Ipole Iloro, which is a rural settlement surrounded by mountains, thick African forests and rivers which emanated from Ekiti State. Climbing the undulating ridges inside the evergreen forest where the waterfall is located is another hazardous task which can only be accomplished by the courageous ones. A community leader in Ipole Iloro Ekiti, Mr. Jeje Ojo Ekololu, said the fall was one of the wonders of nature with which the community was blessed. It was the waterfalls that attracted the construction of tar roads to the community.
Amen. There are the waterfall, Omitoda, so Wulo, so they went to the water Bonosi, Polygamano, Ekiti Federal Government, Abano, better Mario Regis and God,
the Director General, Ekiti State Council for Arts and Culture, Ambassador Wale Ojolanre, said Anita Waterfalls and other tourist attraction centers located in Ekiti State will be preserved and developed to generate more income for the state government.
I don't want to reap the cost of generation unborn. If we are not able to sustain, promote, and ensure that we market our culture, if our culture eventually goes into abyss of oblivion, the next generation will cause us for not having an identity.
Anita Waterfalls also calls for government attention so that the 7 levels of the waterfalls could be easily accessed by tourists. Abiodun Akinkunle, BCOS News.
All right, welcome back. It's still Saturday special, and of course, welcome back from Ekiti. Now, of course, we're staying within the terrain. I want to show you some of the great things that we have in the land of Ibadan. Or your state is the Pace-Setter state. Let's go to Ibadan and see the warlords.
The exploits of the Ibadan warlords in the various wars across Yoruba land is a confirmation of the bravery and brilliance of progenitors of Ibadan, especially when it comes to prosecution of wars. Ibadan played major roles in ensuring that all attempts to attack or invade Yoruba territory were repelled and Yoruba land is victorious. After the fall of Ilorin to the Fulanis and collapse of the Oyo Empire, all other important events in Yoruba land revolved around Ibadan, which was the strongest power that emerged. At a point in the history of Ibadan land, performance in battle became the criterion for accession to the chieftaincy hierarchy. The situation which attracted to Ibadan many brave and talented warriors who had distinguished themselves in the defense of the fallen Oyo Empire. Some of the warlords of Ibadan included Basharun Ogunmola, the son of Orisaguna from Fesu compound in Iwo. He was very short in stature, but the devil to the enemies at the war front. He was a gallant soldier who moved from Fesu to Isheyin before final relocation to Ibadan to form alliance with Iba Oluyole. He won many wars for Ibadan, especially the Ijaye War. Among the war generals of Ibadan was Balogun Ibikunle. Ibikunle hailed from Ijado near Ogbomoso. He came to Ibadan during the reign of Baale Maye Okunade. Based on his strength and valor, Balogun Ibikunle was nicknamed Kiniun Onibudo. Balogun Ibikunle was second to none in the battlefield. He was courageous and fought for several years for Ibadan land. Ibikunle built a protective wall called Odi Ibikunle around Ibadan in 1858. Another prominent Ibadan son who displayed gallantry at the war front was Balogun Odenilo. Odenilo was the Balogun of Ibadan land and reigned around 1850. Odenilo rose to prominence as one of the chiefs who played an active role in the rebellion against Lakanle before Lakanle's eventual suicide. Odenilo was the Balogun who led the Ibadan troops to fight in the Second Ibadan-Ilorin War at Oshogbo, a war that Ibadan won comprehensively. The army of Ibadan equally attacked Ilesha to rescue Oshogbo. From that war, the Ibadan army ventured into Ekiti for the release of Otun, which was attacked by Ilorin army. They also fought in Ara to reinstate the Alara, who was then having problems with his people. Balogun Odenilo was among the 6 generals who plotted against Oluyole. At the time Bashorun Oluyole died, Balogun Odenilo was planning to go on a war to Okeogun. So, when the entire council of Ibadan invited Odenilo to become the Baale, he declined, saying he wanted to win that war first. Historians speculate that he wanted to gather the wealth from the war to boost his claim to the rulership of Ibadan at the time. Balogun Odenilo went to the war and came back. He won the war and gathered enough loot and slaves to bring back to Ibadan. However, few months after his return to Ibadan from Okeogun, as he was said to be announced as Baale of Ibadan, Balogun Odenilo died mysteriously. To this day, nobody knows how Balogun Odenilo died, but the sudden and mysterious nature of his death has led many to speculate that he may have been poisoned. After his demise, Baale Opeyagbe replaced him on the throne of Ibadan. The Ekefa Olubadan of Ibadan land, Senior Chief Lekan Alabi, who is also the first cultural ambassador, National Museum and Monuments, Ile-Ife, noted that Ibadan warlords can best be described as the major savior of Yoruba land, especially during the Fulani invasion.
The present Ibadan is the third Ibadan that grew out of a settlement at about 1820, 1825, and it started as a military camp following the fall of the old Oyo Empire, which was somewhere near in present-day Niger State. As a result of the flock of Yorubas from the Oyo Empire, the Ibadan army rose up as a defender of Yoruba land. Yoruba stock from all Yoruba land started hearing about the new military camp called Ebaudo, which today is shortened to Ibadan. The popular generals Ibikunle, Ogunmola, Ojo, Suberu Ajengbe. So they went out to fight enemies or any opponent, anybody, any group that wanted to stall the growth, peace, unity of the Yoruba land. The most famous is the Jalumi War. As a result of the treachery of Afonja, Are Ona Kakanfo of Yoruba land, he had become so powerful and wanted to have the crown or the position of the Alaafin of Oyo to his being Are Ona Kakanfo. So Afonja was holding forth at Ilorin on behalf of Alaafin. But Afonja became too ambitious and wanted to take over the stool of Alaafin. He thereafter sought in his own mind the help, spiritual help of a Fulani Malam called Alimi. So he invited Alimi to Ilorin to be praying for him so that he will overcome Alaafin. But rather than do that, Alimi was doing incantations that will bring down Afonja, unknown to Afonja. And he was inviting mercenaries, recruits from Sokoto. So they amassed in Afonja Palace and struck one night, killing Afonja, killing his son, and demolishing his post as a Are Ona Kakanfo. Then the jihadists, the Fulani jihadists, took over Ilorin. So having captured Ilorin by deception and the overambition of the Are Ona Kakanfo, they now moved gradually towards Osogbo, passing through Ofa. It was then the Ataoja of Osogbo sent for help to Ibadan. And Ibalu, they now mobilized his generals, the ones I've mentioned, Ibikunle, Ogumola, Ojo, to go and face the jihadists in Osogbo. And that's how Ibadan Army not only defeated the jihadists, but drove them outside these walls of Ofa.
Are Obadoke Latosa Asubiaro was another warrior produced in Ibadan land. He was born at Ilora around 1820. He joined the Ibadan army through Ogumola and rose to become Otunbalogun, and later became the Generalissimo of Yoruba Empire, Are Ona Kakanfo. Are Latosa personally took over the command of the Ekiti Parappa War in 1880. Are Latosa died quietly in an Ibadan camp in 1885. Ibadan led the battle during the Jalumi War, Ekiti Parappa, Koriji War, Ijaye War, Fulani Jihad War, and other internal wars prosecuted by the Ibadan warlords. One of the great-grandsons of Latosa, Chief Mabinu Ori Adegboyega, who has also assumed the title of Are Latosa, spoke about the exploit of his great-grandfather in the war front.
Mohammed Obadoke Are Latosa Ashibiaro Agedegudu. He was the first African man to combine civil and military leadership. He was the Olubadan of Ibadan, at the same time the war generalissimo of the Yoruba from 1871 to 1885. We have a lot of people that knows about war. We never lose any war in Ibadan. Even the Ijebu War, the Egba War, and the Ekiti Wars, and the Kurumi Wars, we always win. In short, if you are not a warrior, you are nothing in Ibadan. And let me now talk about Kiriji War, which was fought by my forefather. This is Ilesha. This is Ekiti. And my father went straight in between them, and he sat down there, and he won the war. The Ijeshas was at the back, and the Ekiti were at the front, and he was at Igbajo, in the middle of the war. That's why he pitched his tents, and he won the war.
A professor of history from the Premier University Ibadan, Professor Olutayo Adeshina, noted that the power wielded by Ibadan warlords later made them to be tyrannical, which also led to a war in rebellious to Ibadan tyrannical attitude.
Ibadan became a place where these generals congregated, and so at the end of the day, at the most crucial period in Yoruba history, they proved very helpful and very significant. And the most significant of it all was the one where Balogun Oderinlo was at the head of the Ibadan army that stopped the Fulani invasion at the Battle of Osogbo in 1840. And so it's very significant that Ibadan saved Yoruba land from the scourge of these people, and so we have had a long history of these generals. They had gone to Ekiti to take control of that region, you know, and we also have to talk about Efunshito Anigura, who actually was behind them, provisioning them. She even had her own army, always lending support to the Ibadan army at any battle site. So Ibadan was famous for all these war generals. But one significant thing about them was that they were people who were cerebral, profound people, full of strategies and tactics. They weren't going to go into battle blindly. They knew what they were doing. Yeah. So there is no way you can talk about Yoruba history without talking about Ibadan history. But at some point, Ibadan also became tyrannical, like all powerful countries, all powerful people, Ibadan also became tyrannical. And so when it came to the Ekiti experience, Ibadan became very tyrannical. Ibadan became very powerful, and so started to expand her power and influence. And so in conquering Ekiti land, she began to send those we call the Ajeles to rule over the Ekitis. And so the Ajeles also became tyrannical, taking wives, levying money arbitrarily, and being generally unruly. That was what caused the Ekiti Parappa War. To say, no, Ibadan must go. So no matter how strong you are not likely to be totally benevolent when it comes to power and the use of power. The use of power comes with the abuse of power.
No matter how, Ibadan will continue to be relevant in the scheme of things in Yoruba land, owing to the high level of bravery and strategy displayed at the war front by the Ibadan warlords. Abiodun Akinkunle reporting for Saturday Special.
Of Oyo State. This morning, we're now in the interview segment, and I hope you enjoyed the travelogue of how we looked at the Ibadan warlords. Right about now, we'll be looking at handling financial pressure in marriage amid economic hardship. That's what we're looking at this morning in our interview segment. And we have two guests here this morning. I don't know how to describe Dr. Funke Adetubero. Yes, people call her a marriage coach, but when it comes to marriage, I won't just call her an alpha and omega in the conversation, or she is a thoroughbred when it comes to that conversation. She's been doing it and God has been helping her. And welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me. I'm so grateful.
All right, we also have a legal expert here this morning. When he came in, I said, I hope he has handled many cases, including marriages and divorce. And he said yes. And of course, he's one man too that is a family lawyer, marriage counselor, but is an expert that knows his onions on the job. And that's Barrister Enyayo Akintujoye. You're welcome, Esquire.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's good to have you on the program.
It's a pleasure.
All right, let's begin the conversation. When we talk about handling financial pressure in Nigerian marriages is currently severe due to intense economic hardship, inflation, and high living cost, leading to tension, reduced intimacy, and in some cases, marital breakdown. Couples are facing mounting debt, inability to meet basic needs, abstain from supporting extended family, creating intense. I'd like us to begin, and I'd like you to permit me, sir. Let me begin with Dr. Adetubero. I want to believe we all know what marriage is all about. So let's look at the correlation between marriage and finance. How is finance a major thing that would bring about pressure in any marriage?
It sounds interesting, marriage and money, I just felt, the truth is, you cannot rule out the financial part of marriage, money answered all things. Money is a defense. No matter how much you are in love with each other, definitely you would have to, even to go and visit each other to buy flowers, we still need to spend money. So money is important. You can't rule it out. But the truth is, it takes wisdom to manage money management, so that it will not become a cog in the wheel of the progress of the relationship. And that's why we're here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Let's go to Barrister. Let's look at it. She said money is important in marriage. But should money be a bedrock to any marriage existence generally? Should money be a yardstick? Because when we were growing up, I mean, whether you had money or not, it didn't stop you from getting married. You don't have to be rich. It was just about you getting to a certain age. And trust me, your family is ready to let you go, whether you're a male or female. So this issue of money and marriage seem to be, it's looking like the trend is changing. But quickly, let's pay some bills. Let's go on the commercial break. When we come back, Barrister, you give us your line. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
It's under attack, but not for long, because Hypo is here. Dirty floors and surfaces.
Not on our watch.
Dirty and stains no fit do us shakara. We got the remedy, original palasa. Hypo, go hypo.
Germs always find a way back.
No greed. Protect every day with Hypo.
Alright everyone, no put your ears, make we talk. Time don't read to rearrange inside to give una small wisdom. Shots might be fresh now, but you know own, I beg no be so. Before una go talk, say our smell no reach. Make una think I'm twice so. Ever heard of Colgate? The #1 oil care brand in the world.
Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection. Almost 24 hours cavity defense. The formula boost with calcium for lifelong smiles.
Mom, it's a time to brush. No more cover mouth.
Colgate for 24 hours maximum cavity protection.
All right, welcome back. Thank you for staying tuned. Before we went on that break, I was asking Barrister Eniayo a question about, how it was then. It wasn't about money. It was about you getting married and having children when I was growing up. So what has changed? Why has the trend? Who caused it? Who changed the narrative?
All right, thank you very much. I believe that the reason why the narrative seems to have changed is because society has become more complex than it was in the olden days that you are describing. Society has become more complex. There is, of course, generally there is rural-urban migration. Life has become more urban, and then because of that, your life has become more sophisticated. And that sophistication comes with a cost. Marriage, every great marriage is powered by two pillars. One, friendship. The second is sense of responsibility. Marriage is dominated by responsibilities, dominated by payment of bills, for obvious reasons. Now, because of that, there is a minimum amount, there is a minimum financial empowerment capacity that is requisite to power a thriving marriage. Now, I do not advocate, and it is not true that you must have all the money in this world before you can marry and have a joyful marriage. No matter the level of your income, you can plan something. Cut your cost according to the material available. You understand? And then live a peaceable. There are people that have money and are having marital problems. So it's not just lack of money that troubles marriage. Both lack and financial prosperity trouble marriage. I know marriages that I have counseled in my practice that did not have problem when they were broke. And I was sitting with the husband and wife, and the wife opened her mouth and said, when we didn't have money, we didn't have problem in this marriage. Because there was nothing to fight over, because there was nothing. Now that there are assets, there's now fight over you bought a 2014 Camry and gave me a 2002 Camry. You are not telling, you are buying big things, you are not carrying me along. They have a lot to fight on now. Their marriage is worse now that they have money compared to when they didn't have. So I'm just saying that
It sounded like money is like as good as it is. It is
yes.
also creating problems.
If there is no wisdom in managing money in family dynamics. There is a wisdom of going about it. If you are going to have peace in your marriage, whether lack or abundance, there is a wisdom of managing it and still having peace in your marriage.
Okay, I see Doctor, nodding and also agreeing to what he said, but let's look at marriage now and the major crises in marriage. I know we are looking at financial issues now, but what's the major factor that causes crises in marriage? Is it the finances or other things? Let's hear from you.
Whether we are conscious of it or not, 14 invincible people are going into marriage. People you don't see. And that's why I don't deal with the fruit, I deal with the roots. I have a nickname. You must trace it, embrace it, erase it, and start replacing it. Now, if you are from a dysfunctional home where parents, we have two parties in the home, PDP 1, PDP 2. I don't know the one we have now. Maybe there's another one. I don't know. And there's no synergy, there's no oneness, there's no unity. Parents told themselves, "Is my money, this is my person, this is my dad." There's a lot of confusion. And it's not because of them. Somebody passed the baton. The children will pass the baton, another person will pass the baton. So somebody must stop the flow. And basically, some of our challenges in our relationship, they are fundamental, they are foundational. 14 invisible people are going into. Number one, the person you saw your dad is going into your marriage as a girl. You saw your dad provide everything, bulldozer. When it comes to the house, everybody dive into their nook and cranny. You are just, there's one principality and power that comes home. That alone is going into that marriage. Everything you saw your dad did to your mom, not your daddy figure. Now every child's dad is their hero. Is going into that marriage. There's a perception, there's a concept of marriage that you have, believing that men are providers. Some home, it's their wife, it's the mother that provides. So a woman had that set mind. Never in my life would I provide. My husband must provide because my mom did everything and she was not appreciated and all of that. So we need to understand where we're all coming from. And now, basically, I don't even stress myself. I just know that the moment you are telling me you are interested in getting married, I insist on compatibility assessment. That's what I do because I can't be gambling with people's life.
When we talk about compatibility assessment, sorry to cut you there, ma'am. Yeah. Do you also look at the finances of both parties?
Because when you are talking about what I do professionally as a psychologist is we have the prognosis, we have the diagnosis, we have the root cause. When I do compatibility assessment test, which is really, really loaded and is 100%, 1000%, the truth is I know the diagnosis. Okay, this person is from a dysfunctional home, daddy is this, mommy is this, she was molested. A lot of things follows you to your relationship. Some of us, we don't even know that our past travels with us to a new life. Nobody knows. You're just in there like a goat going to slaughterhouse. And the truth is, marriage is like, it's only when you travel abroad that you give me a gift and I just open it immediately. In Nigeria or in Africa, you will take the gift home. That's how people get married. So if you open it and it's serpent that is inside, enjoy. You know what I'm saying? People don't know that marriage is like black market. It is what is wrapped in there. When you get home, you see it. And that's why you cannot afford to be an ignoramus when you are going into a relationship. You look deeper than what the person is masking. We are all Eddie Murphy, James Bond, Jackie Chan, Mufedam, Joe Babasuwe, going into relationship, and that's the truth. Everybody masks, everybody pretends. You can't show your real self when you are in courtship. You look at me now, I've made up. Is it how I woke up in the morning? No, I'm good. My skin is good anyway, so on a lighter mood. But the truth is, this is still not my natural person. And that's how we mask in relationship. So when we go into relationship, not understanding the fact that something is traveling with me from where I'm coming from. I had a client that the mom did everything, made them money, give everything. All is me and my husband, buying properties, myself and my husband, everything done. So the lady believed so much in her dad, 5 and 6. You know what? She came back from school one day, she saw her mother sobbing like as if somebody died. Not knowing that the woman, after she has cried for about 2 hours, I'm not exaggerating. One thing that happened is she just opened her note. Her mommy just opened her Bible under the Bible and saw that dad and mom, her dad had a child that looked exactly like her. And she vowed never to allow her husband to touch her penny. So the husband was one. This woman just stripped. This was a cleanse. She just stripped. The man said, I've never stolen one person from my wife's money. But you know what? The man cannot take 1 naira from that woman's money. No matter if the fees of the kids remain 10,000 naira, he must look for it. So the man was puzzled. I've not stolen this man's money. I've not done anything. I've not even acting. There's no acting out. There's no infidelity. What's going on? When she came to therapy, I was just asking. Suddenly, I just said, tell me what happened between you and your dad. She started crying. For 1 hour, she was weeping like a baby. I said, what happened? She said, no, I can't trust a man. If my dad would do this to my mom, I cannot. I trust my husband is good. It is I trust my husband. My husband is a good man. He's very prudent. But me, never. I had to start doing therapy, telling that woman, this is not your husband. Your husband is not your dad. Don't use, the pain of somebody to touch. She had to be in therapy to heal from that trauma. So now, if you are talking about, let's do finances, we are doing it together. How? When your foundation is faulty, what would you do? So a lot of people are carrying baggages, they don't even know. They are dancing to a music, they don't know it's playing the rhythm.
Thank you very much. I want us to break some tables. But before we do that, I want Barrister to talk about something, Doctor spoke about now, talking about masking, hiding some certain parts of ourselves. Now, as a family lawyer who have dealt with a lot of marital situations now, divorce cases, to be specific, do you really think couples mask some of these behaviors away from themselves, or we just do not take note of certain things because of the current emotions we feel when we are with such our significant other?
Thank you very much. Yes, most marriages never had a thorough courtship.
Thank you.
Majority of marriages. A lot of people don't even know what courtship is about. And what is the curriculum of courtship. What is the, curriculum in terms of what are they supposed to go through? What are the milestones? And what are the yardsticks of measuring whether they have reached the milestone to make it safe to graduate the relationship to marriage? So, and like Doctor said earlier, she said majority of marital problems are foundational. So where do you treat the foundation? Courtship provides you an avenue, a safe avenue, when things have not become irreversible, to deal with possible problems in the future. And for example, part of the important curriculum of courtship is to walk through the past. You don't meet your partner as a child. You meet them as an adult. They have some 25 years behind them, some 30 years behind them. And a lot of water has passed under the bridge within those 30 years. So, and if a thorough courtship travels back and begins to look at different issues, emotional issues, trauma issues, upbringing. It's not just sexual past alone. When we talk about dealing with the past, a lot of people just feel that when we talk about dealing with the past, we're only talking about body counts, we're only talking about addiction history. These are important, but it's not limited to that. There are emotional baggages. There are traumas that have nothing to do with sex. Family background and all of the issues that are traveling with the partners. A lot of people over exaggerate erotic love. And they think that because we have butterflies in our tummy towards each other, that is enough to drive marriage for 30 years. But they are mistaken. Erotic love is very fickle. When, marital prayers come, I used to tell people, when you and your partner, if you have a proper fight twice, you will be searching for the feelings all over the house. You won't find it. You'll be checking under the bed. Where did the feeling go to? Because emotional love, which is erotic love, there are 4 kinds of love. I'm talking about the eros. A lot of people, they premise marital decisions on eros. The excitement, the sexual, because most courtships are also sexual, So they think they are good. They think they are intimate. They think they are close, but they are not. Because these other issues of deep friendship, synchrony of their minds, we can go on and on. Dealing with all of these baggages and making themselves actually healthy emotionally. They are the factors that will determine whether they will be at peace on the long run. Okay. And when they get out of peace, they suddenly realize that the sexual love that they thought was enough to drive their marriage, collapses like a pack of cards.
Or was never there in the first instance.
You could have been there, but sexual love is not special. Okay. You can have sexual love towards anybody of the opposite sex.
So what is special? What is special?
What is more special is the love of delight, which we call philios, the love of friendship. When two people can be deep-spirited friends, even if there is no sex on the table, you miss each other, you can have communication, you can be together, have 2 hours conversation, and you are not bored with being together. Like I told you earlier, I said strong marriages are powered by 2 pillars, friendship and a sense of responsibility. Notice I didn't say sex. Because when friendship collapses, sex follows in the same direction. There are a lot of people that have been married that are no longer having sex for years. They are living in the same house. They are not having sex again because the friendship has gone out of the way. So the love of delight, which is friendship, is a stronger factor to make marital decision upon than sexual love. And how do you test that the 2 of you are friends in courtship? That there is no sexual benefit. And yet, you miss each other so badly. There's nothing sexual going on in that relationship. And yet the 2 of you cannot want to be together. You always love to talk together. You always enjoy each other's company. And when you are not together, you miss each other. Despite the fact that there is no sexual benefit, that is the proof that the 2 of you are genuinely friends.
Okay. Let me come to you, Doctor. Doctor, I'm sorry I want to take this back. I want us to look at it because along the conversation we're saying courtship. I do agree that courtship is very good and it helps. But let's look at the percentage of marriages that went through courtship and came out better, stood the test of time. So why am I saying I'm taking you back? When I was way younger, maybe as a baby, when you were bigger, how did they do it? Don't forget, they will see family A, especially in the southwest. They will say, my daughter, okay, we'll marry from so place.
Yeah.
They do a background check of them.
Yeah.
All of this, I'm sorry, let me use the word, all of this analogy, English, you're speaking this morning, never came into existence. Yet, they married them to each other. And they lived together. With the mindset, is a patriarchy society. The man, whether Christian or Muslim, can come back to say, I am marrying them. Bring this one in today, and yet
they stayed.
They stayed. Marriage worked. What? I don't understand.
So many things. When the barrister was talking, I was just shaking and nodding because the value system everything has changed. Everything has changed. Even the pressure, he was saying that when you're in a relationship, you are together, you are missing each other. But check 100 couples now. Everybody's on the phone, pressing their phones. So the companion, the friendship is on the social media. And the influence in that place is sickening. Terrible news. Things that you are wondering, you mean all this happened when we were growing up? I'm 63 for crying out loud. And it's like, what is this? Values have changed. Religion has changed. Culture has changed. Tradition has changed. Babies are giving back to babies. Daddy is a baby. Mommy is a baby. They had their babies. Nothing, no solid foundation, no structure. Nothing is there. Now you're talking about you, dad. Okay, you are married from here. They've done all the boundaries. They are in the same church. They've done Sunday school together. They've grown together. Even if you are going to misbehave, I have cases of people that courted in the olden days. I'm talking about people that are 50 now, and they had a fling. As getting married to another person who is from a Christian home, till tomorrow nobody knew. It's only me that because I'm a counselor, that's why I knew that something happened. They believe in their values. They honor themselves. There's respect. There is a fear of God. There's no fear. When he was saying that courtship will be without sex, I just smiled and said, you are talking old school. Because, when God tells you not to fornicate in courtship, is it God that will have HIV? Is it God that they will cheat on? When God tells us, don't do this, it's for us. Any standard that is raised by the Almighty God, and even in Muslim, I've seen ladies that wear hijab and everything who are Muslims, and they believe in chastity, they believe in virginity. Because it's just moral, is common sense. And common sense is not common. So these days, there is nothing like that. Basically, mothers are not even available. Parents are not available. Everybody is hustling. You said something. You said somebody will be at home. Whether the man brings money, they are contented. There is this value of, let my husband go and work. I'm a teacher. I'll take care of my kids. Do you see that there's a bomb already in this generation? I don't know if I'm the only one seeing. That's why I must keep myself sane. Because there's a problem. It's a bomb that has already exploded. What would a 17-year-old boy looking for in money to go and call a friend and murder the friend because of 150 million? What do I want to use 150 million? Even now, 150 million for what? Maybe programs, shiny thing. You know what I'm saying? Seminars, thank you. So what are we saying? Those days we have parents that understand values, no matter the level of religion. When I was growing up, my aunt got married. I was 6 years old. When my uncle came to greet my grandpa, my grandma looked at him and said, "What's your problem?" She was waiting for the bed sheet that they used to sleep because she was sure that her daughter is a virgin. We are keeping virginity. Why would marriage not work? You understand what I'm saying?
Keeping the
virginity
does not mean that the man
will be faithful. No, it doesn't have to be.
So it was in our side.
Yes, they've told us, you know what? Wedlock is padlock. The key is thrown to Atlantic Ocean. It's death that does us part. That's the key. And people aligned to that. They believe in that. Even cheating. Some men they're not even bold to cheat. They do it at the background. They because they are deacons and elders, they are imam in their various organizations. Now people, oh God, it's scary.
So
you talked about.
I want to weigh in briefly why I appreciate all that has been said about the good side of the olden days.
But there's also a bad side,
there's
of course, because there's no social media.
Before many of the marriage, you were saying that all of this English did not apply then, and yet they stayed.
No, they stayed in abuse.
Staying is not a proof.
They stayed in abuse,
that their marriage worked.
They stayed in abuse.
And that they were fulfilled in those marriages. Now, the only difference is that...
How do you know that they are not even fulfilled? It's when the children are growing and they made wrong choices that you know that something is wrong with this marriage.
The difference in our generation is that it's not that those marriages, they had their good side, like we have said. The values were better. People had more commitment to family. And the idea of divorce is not as rampant. People frowned at divorce much more then compared to now. But however, it didn't mean that they had equality marriage. Now, it's not the only difference that our generation is not.
I've refused to stay.
I refuse to stay in abuse.
Yeah.
So all these English matters. That's where I'm going. All these things I discussed, they matter for a marriage that will be strong and fulfilling.
I'm not a supporter of abuse.
No.
So let's quickly check out why that is coming. Why that is coming, and I intentionally asked Doctor that question because she saw way farther than what we are seeing or what we saw. Now, coming to why that question came, that is not to say that 100% of every marriage had abuse in it in those days.
No.
The focus, like you said, was majorly the children. We had women who were working, who were going to the farm. But that parity, even when we had situations where the girl child would not be allowed to go to school, some women would tell their husband, don't worry, I will send my girl child to school. So basically, that's the angle where that question was coming from, was not abuse. Okay. So now, from this end, looking at all of this, if indeed the value system Doctor talked about existed, how do we manage the value system and abuse?
Before he answers that, we have a commercial break and we'll be right back. Please stay with us.
Under attack. but not for long, cause Hypo is here. Dirty floors and surfaces.
Not on our watch.
Dirty and stains no fit do us shakara. We got the remedy, original palasa. Hypo, go hypo.
Germs always find a way back.
No green. Protect every day with Hypo.
Hypo, go hypo.
Alright, everyone, no put your ears. Make we talk. Time don't read to rearrange his house to give us small wisdom. Shots might be fresh now, but you know, I beg no be so. Before I go talk, say our smell no reach. Make not think I'm twice so. Ever heard of Colgate? The #1 oral care brand in the world.
Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection unlocks 24 hours cavity defense. The formula boost with calcium for lifelong smiles.
Mom, it's a time to brush. No more cover mouth. Because Colgate, that's what you got with your smile.
Colgate for 24 hours maximum cavity protection.
Interesting and
Intense.
engaging. But however, before we went on that break, so I was trying to say that, so how do we manage abuse in the spirit of values? Oh, the value system exists. The man is God-fearing, the woman is God-fearing, he got married to her as a virgin, he's been consistent. In all of that, how do we manage it such that those abuse we mentioned does not even exist?
You mean the abuse I said existed in the past?
Yes.
That it doesn't, so that it does not
Even
exist.
Yes, it still happens.
Oh, yes. How do we manage it? Now, the first thing, which already flows from what I've said before, is that people need to seek training for marriage. Knowledge and training for marriage. Most of us, we went to school to study for close to 20 years to be whatever we are doing today. To be a doctor, to be a lawyer, to be a teacher. But majority of people do not consider marriage as something to be trained for. You believe that by the capacity to be pregnant and give birth to children, you are already qualified to be a mother. And you know what it takes to be a mother. By virtue of being a woman, or you know what it takes to be a wife. Whereas all of these roles, nobody taught us in school. And they are specialized roles. There is a wisdom, there is a know-how, there is a skill required to run marriage successfully. So that is the #1 most important thing. There needs to be proper preparation and proper training, from trusted platforms. People who have the results, not this. People are speaking from dysfunctionalities. There are lots of.
How do you know people who are from dysfunctionalities?
By their fruit, you will know them.
How do you know? They go to church on Sunday.
No, let me.
I think we should also even look at what a proper training is.
You cannot base your decision as to who to follow based on their external appearance. You have to go beyond that. Who are they at home? What is their testimony?
How many people follow whom?
Let's even look at it from what is said. You are only given a marriage certificate without going to school. You did your master's, first degree, you became a doctor, you spent 7 years in the university. Yeah. Then you did your house job, then you went to serve, then you now specialize. Marriage that will help you to live your life to the fullness and give you joy, sanity, serenity, peace. Even handing the baton to your children, you are not informed.
No, doctor.
If you are not
No, doctor. Let's quickly look at it from this angle. Let's not keep saying that.
Information.
The people who didn't go to school to.
Money about marriage. They suffer. That's why I said 14 invisible people are going into marriage.
Why I'm saying that is because whether you like it or not, the day you are born, you have entered the school of marriage because you see your parents. Now, even
that's what I'm saying.
It's a bad school.
Yeah. It can be a bad school, it can be a good school. It's whatever you come out to be that determines the kind of school or what you chose to become.
No, you sometimes you don't have a choice, in all fairness.
True.
Because the pattern, the prototype is there already. You just follow the trend and think it's normal. When I tell people, I said, you said that we have diabetes. What did you say?
He said you must go
I
out
said
of
you
your
must
way.
go out of your way. You
Exactly.
to find the right knowledge.
Now the truth. Let's just be.
What do you want to do?
No, let's
Let me allow.
Life is just about knowing what to do, and you make your choice makes you. We're all products of our various choices. What he's saying here is you choose the life you want to live.
Oh, yes.
But the truth is, when it comes to marriage is complex. It's so human beings are even complex machines. David said we are fearfully and complexly made. Sometimes even you don't know yourself. And that is why God gave us brains so that God can rest. I've made up my mind. I sat on one point. I would never talk to anybody about marriage. You are getting married without doing compatibility assessment test. It gives me the diagnosis, the prognosis, and the reason. What are the major challenges? What are the potential problems? So we nip it on the bud and we solve it once and for all. We are tired of these casualties all over the world. Divorce rate is something else.
Doctor, I feel like as much as we are looking at the basis of crisis in marriage now, let's focus on the financial. Earlier you talked about those days where women wait for their husbands to bring money home. In fact, women dare not even say, I want to contribute, because the man takes 100% responsibility of everything in the house. But looking at what we have today, the man is looking for money, the woman is also pursuing money.
I remember behind
how did we get
somebody
to
said
that
my
point?
wife just drove me out of the house, drove the husband out of the house to go and look for money for the uniform for festival. And it's like, so where are the values? What is our priority? What are we really looking forward to? What are we asking? What legacy are we giving to our kids? All these things, they are major, they are emotional issues. And listen to me, we are tripartite beings. We have a spirit, we have a soul, we live in a body. Our soulish realm is where we see all these dramas at home. Our soulish realm is, I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor, I'm a banker, I'm an engineer. It's still the same soul. And when your soul is crushed, when you are on a wheelchair, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, you cannot give what you don't have. Somebody said, if you are going to give me a clothes, I'll look at the one you are wearing. I don't say that. I check your wardrobe. You not borrow that clothes to party. It was talking about relationship. There are people that married strangers. They married a sociopath, a psychopath, a narcissist. They married an addict. The man can sleep with anything in skirts or trousers. What do you want them to do? I've seen 5 women have told me this week. I can't even say it out, even to my team. They are HIV positive. This girl's married as a virgin. Sure. She said she was wailing in my office.
How did she control?
The husband is acting out. What will she do? She's doing an unprotected sex. Don't.
Should women start?
I tell people, you know what? From in the last 1 year, I made up my mind. I will never talk to anybody without screening them emotionally.
Okay.
I can't gamble with your life. I can't be guessing. Because just say, okay, do this. Now, somebody you told to love, never saw love, was molested. There's a girl that her daddy was beat her mom to bleeding. She got married. The husband could not penetrate her. They couldn't have sex. Everything is there. They went to the hospital until she came to therapy. And I said, come, tell me what happened. He said nothing. I said something happened. Tell me. Finally, she said, I did not even know that my past traveled with me to my future. She saw her dad beat her mom when they all came back from school. There were 4 of them. She went to her room and just stayed under the bed. Coming to check the mom, she saw mom and dad having sex. So what again? So the pain, trauma just told her, sex is pain, forget it.
Okay.
Finances.
Yes, let me go to Barrister. Barrister,
Scary.
let's talk about money in marriage. I agree that money plays a lot of role in marriage. But is there something money cannot do in marriage?
Well, is there something money cannot do? Well, there are so many things money cannot do. So many things money cannot do. Like I've told you that the presence of money in itself is not actually what guarantees peace. You can have money and see a lot of marital crisis because there's a lot to fight over, which you didn't have anything to fight over before. It's about the wisdom on how to steer your finances in a way that you will have peace. Now, let me share a few of the wisdom that you need, especially in this economy, to manage financial pressure and all of that. The number one wisdom for every couple is that you need to have a sit down together. How can we cut costs? How can we do more? A double-edged strategy. I remember that the first time fuel became 1.2, that was about 2 years ago, when it became 1.2 for the first time. That week, I realized that I used to use a V6 engine. So I realized that week I spent 80,000 naira fueling our car. 80,000 naira. Apart from fuel in the office where there is no light. I've never met light 3 years of using the office. And fuel at home. I'm not only talking about car. I saw that I used 80,000. And I considered that in four weeks that is going to be about 320,000. Added with the fuel bill at home and in the office, we got to around 500,000 per month. So we had this. When it was going like that, I called a meeting, a solemn assembly between myself and my wife. Okay. And I said, you see, there are macroeconomic changes which we don't have control over. Yeah. But it affects our life, and it can trouble the peace of our marriage. Yeah. We need to also devise a strategy to respond to what is going on. So we sat down and calculated. Number one, many of us don't even know how much we are spending per month. Yeah. We don't know where our money is going until you have a sit down. There are times where, jokingly, when I tell my wife, my wife will say, we don't even know where the money is going. I say, hey, you don't know where it's going. And we will exchange. You be the husband for a month, and I be the wife. Then you will see that, all the recurrent expenditures that don't look like big capital projects, they consume more money when you add it up times 30 days in a month. Yeah. So we sat down and we traced and we saw that 500,000 naira of our income is going into energy. So the first thing is, what can we cut down, in all our expenses so that financial pressure will not kill us? So that we won't get to a point where we are just spiraling in debt. So we don't get to a point where we can't pay our bills and then we begin to fight each other. So we sat down and began to pick items that we can cut down and take drastic decisions on what to do. Let me give a very funny example. You will not believe what we saw that energy was a major issue that was consuming. We saw that one, we can easily do something about it. So we began to devise strategy. One of the strategies that we devised, okay, should we go for CNG engine? Exactly. CNG, they said converting is a lot of money, and they said they will remove the last roll of my Sienna vehicle, and I didn't like that. We finally opted that I should buy a motorcycle. I know how to ride a motorcycle from my background. And I remember 2 years ago, as a way of cutting down costs, I went to buy a motorcycle.
People will too assume that you're even doing exercise.
And I use a helmet. People don't recognize me on the street. And you know that with that, we were able to cut down about 200,000 energy bill every month. And I can go on and on like that. Cut down costs. Then you strategize. How can we earn more? Now, that meeting is holding. Number two.
Still on.
Number two. There must now be execution of your strategy. You have a strategy to cut down costs and to make more. The execution must be together. And that's where financial oneness comes in. Total transparency about what you earn, mutual agreement about what you spend. If you don't do that, there will be crisis. Why? Because there will be a lot of assumptions about your financial capacity. A lot of assumptions about how much you are earning. A lot of problems about what you are spending. So couples that are married, their lives are shared, their destinies are shared, their children are shared.
But we see that happening a lot when people do not disclose what they earn.
You know what?
In totality.
I have two more strategies. When is my turn again?
Please go ahead. Finish your story.
No, before you,
please comment.
You know, the truth is, you are saying something that is real good, tangible, amazing, real. But you are communicating. You are friends.
Yeah.
You are just partners. We are talking about marriage that has financial issue, that the man brought debt into the marriage. The wife is owing before they got into the marriage. The wife had wrong financial ability, capacity, financial negligence. The husband does not even know how to be put. Then there's no oneness. You are hiding. You have actually had other side chickens before the lady is in the picture. it's because we are talking godly here. But we're living in a system that is so contaminated, so polluted, that there's nothing like we are saying anything. Everybody now, in marriage, you have a spender, you have an accountant. In marriage, if he's an accountant, we allow him to do the savings. We will spend because we are spenders. It takes understanding to know that this person is an accountant. I know, let my husband keep the money. I teach that to intended couple. Apart from compatibility, you spend too much. Let the person that is not spending put money, meaning that you have to discipline yourself and humble yourself and remove your ego to say, okay, my dear, we are spending this for what reason? If you are too proud to explain, then you are not ready to be married.
Oh, yes. Well, I think we should also talk about the issue of communication now, like you mentioned, Doctor, and finances. We have couples who do not declare in totality what they earn. Yeah. We have couples who have hidden accounts. Accounts. Their husbands do not even have an idea they have such accounts. Neither do their wives also have. When we have, issues like that in marriage, issues of hiding from your spouse. How do you deal with such issues? Especially, I want to talk from experience now, dealing with your client.
Yes.
How do you handle such issues?
For example, I even had a client recently that was in my office, and we were trying to, she's the respondent, trying to respond to the divorce filed by her husband. The children are with her. And we now wanted to look at what to request for maintenance. There's something called maintenance in matrimonial courses. That is, after the marriage, how much should must the man provide for the care of the wife and the children? Of course, under English law, you still have responsibility to care for your wife even after divorce, even though most Nigerian judges don't sanction that position. But maintenance. That's what I'm talking about. And I asked the woman, how much does they have been married for 5 years? How much does your husband earn? So that we will know what is reasonable to ask for, per month. And she told me she doesn't know how much her husband earns. I couldn't hide. I hid my shock. I pretended as if I was not shocked because she's my client, so she won't carry her brief elsewhere. But I was shocked. What kind of marriage are people running? You see, we must tell ourselves the truth. Marriage is not our own idea. Yeah. Somebody invented marriage and created a manual.
Manufacturer's manual. How many of us you check your phone manual?
Now, so people are running marriage against the manual, and they say they won't have crisis. So you can't eat your cake and still have it. Now, one of the critical principles of marriage by the manufacturer is that the two of them, they were naked
and they were
not ashamed. The principle of nakedness is a core principle of any functional marriage. And when I talk about nakedness, I'm talking about total transparency. What is the problem? What are you hiding?
I wonder.
Somebody,
they are hiding because they have baggages.
The truth of the matter is that you have.
But could it also mean that they are hiding because they are also ashamed of themselves?
Naked and not ashamed. What are you ashamed of?
Transparent.
You are ashamed with your own wife, who is your.
You are both naked.
Barrister, let's not forget we mentioned trauma earlier. There are some people who are not proud to say some certain things about themselves. There are people who are not proud to come out to say, this is the kind of family, this is the kind of background I am from. It could be, what if that is the case? And they just feel like, I cannot reveal this particular part of my life.
No, the truth is everything. They won't
can't reveal your
because
income.
when you are raised from a dysfunctional home, there are 3 things that is common with you. Don't trust, don't talk, and don't feel. Is your title. It's like you are. They will marry because you know how many girls will say, I lie for what my dad did to my mom, I'm not marrying again. Before you see they are pregnant. We are wired to love and wanting to be loved. So that's why I will never do anything with anybody on this earth when it comes to marriage without screening. Okay. That screening will give me the prognosis, the diagnosis. I know what I'm dealing with. I know that this person, you have to do therapy. You can't go into marriage like this. It will tell you this thing has to be done. And it's done by clinicians. It's 1000% correct. God gave us brains so that God can go and rest. Why do I don't understand why people don't believe in therapy and treating their emotional wounds. You are sick, you go to the hospital and you treat yourself. So why are you thinking you cannot? Why would Africa say I cannot treat my emotional wounds. Seek ye first the kingdom of therapy.
Mama,
All things will be
they
added
don't
to
want
you.
third party. They don't want third party. But they'll finally come to lawyer to do divorce.
And you know that
they don't know that we are third parties.
It's break exactly. And
before their marriage break, they say no, we don't want third parties. Yeah, counselor is a third party. But by the time the marriage break,
but Barrister, in this case, are you saying in this case, because we've also seen adults, we've seen religious leaders, we've also heard counselors, marriage counselors, advise couples and tell them, when you have issues, especially maybe the first few months, few years, do not involve a third party. Now, are you trying to say that involving a third party is actually essential or important in raising a good marriage?
Listen, in every relationship, you have an umpire now. That's why you need a counselor. You need a therapist. You need a mediator. Your husband may not see something. Your wife may not see it. Somebody will help you without prejudices, without biases. The third party they are talking about could be prejudiced and biased people in the relationship. But somebody that you know that the person has a sense of reasoning, is not on your side, is not on your spouse's side. Even if you are thinking, maybe it's supporting, it means you don't like the truth. But once the persons or the people you know that these people are truthful,
a neutral figure,
that they are helping you to build your home, you will be comfortable to stay there and ask questions. If you don't like to ask questions, you soon become a question mark. Because people will look at you and say, but when you are now, the eye that will follow you to the grave will not be bringing out water in the morning. Some of these things are there in courtship. You said it that you came from a traumatic background. You don't want to say anything. You don't want to talk. It is where you are doing counseling, premarital counseling, that all these things will come out. And it's only here we don't respect professionals. He's a lawyer. If I have legal issue, I'll meet him. I'm a therapist. Come and meet. Pastors, the fact that you're a pastor does not make you a therapist.
Oh, yes.
But the fact that you're a pastor does not make you a counselor. These are professions that people pay millions or thousands of dollars to learn and to know. Let's respect our offices.
Just a quick addition. Now, if a courtship was thorough, and a couple they should have mastered conflict resolution to a point in a thorough courtship. And as they get to that growth level, they can come to a point where by 90% of their conflicts, they are able to resolve it together. But there may still be a 10%, even if you have grown, there may still be a 10% of conflicts that the two of you are not able to resolve together. So that's why it's important to have an agreed third party. And I emphasize agreed third party. Not just that you cherry pick and you do what lawyers call forum shopping. Okay. Now, you know what forum shopping is? You are looking for somebody who will tell you what you want to hear. It's important. In the religious environment, we call it discipleship, a discipler, Somebody that both of you have agreed to submit your relationship to from the days of your courtship. Both of you respect the person's wisdom, as Doctor said. You respect the person's dispassionateness. And then you agree that this person will be the third party. I don't also sanction moving to any third party because, like she said, it's not everybody that have marital wisdom. Yes. So you can also get the wrong counsel. Yeah. So, but it's important to have an agreed third party that in case of those 10% window, when both of you cannot resolve, you will have a forum you can refer to.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Let's quickly look at young women. How do you do it? I mean, must you marry someone who is rich? Because you find out that there was a time, the generation, things were changing and we had this notion that you must marry a rich guy so that you can remain, your family can be comfortable and then. So, in the light of money that we're talking about, I mean, if you don't find a rich guy, or a rich guy is not even approaching you, what will you do? Because if you are not rich or you don't marry a rich guy, you remain poor forever.
Are you a rich girl?
You're asking me? Yes, I'm a rich girl.
No, not you.
Yes, I know. I'm just
that person.
Now, you see, now, this is the point. Now, if you want to marry within your age bracket, you must recognize that majority of people within your age bracket are going through the same struggles you are going through as a woman. Except you want to marry beyond your age bracket. You are 20, you want to marry a 50-something. But that comes with its own baggages. Now, if you are marrying within your age bracket, 95% of people within your age bracket, if you are broke, they are also broke. Because you went to the same school, you got the same certificate, and you compete in the same labor market. And there is no double head that a man has that a woman does not. So sometimes women even have some extra advantage that we men don't have in getting jobs and being loved, yes. You know. Women have they are love beings. People love them more and pity them more than we men. Now, so if you are married within your age bracket, you must tell yourself a truth. Only about 5% of people, for example, in their 30s, are well established financially. 95% of others are still struggling. And so, you only have a 5% window to marry someone that's already financially established, except you don't want to marry. Now, what is more important is not that the guy is rich at the point when you are meeting. What is more important is that he has the potentials, he is driven, and he is backing his words with action. Not just a loud talker that says, if I just see opportunities around him, he's not driving himself, he's not hardworking, he is not focused, he doesn't have vision. Vision is more powerful than money. Because vision can create, if you don't have money immediately, but you have vision and you have drive to back up the vision, you have a picture of where you are going, is a matter of time.
Now the truth
and they get distracted. So let's quickly look at that.
And that's why I'm saying, just a minute, ma. That's why I'm saying that you must have a current evidence of somebody that is focused. It's not just vision on the paper without action. Vision backed by action that is ongoing. Okay. That is a piece of evidence that you can premise a marital decision upon.
Okay, let's look at this conversation from another angle. Let's agree. Two couples got married. We've mentioned it earlier. They, came together. There was something or there was nothing, and they started together. And money came. Somehow, they worked hard, both of them, and there's money. And unfortunately, and that also tells us that most billionaires are single. Is there something wrong with money and marriage? Because just like you said earlier, sometimes when money comes in, it seems like it kicks out.
It's not money that kicked out anything, in all fairness. If somebody is arrogant before money came, it's just the arrogancy is just going to be raised to power 1,000. Exactly. So you're no, they are not. They're masking. They are not gentle. They are masking it, and that's why I personally I don't deal with the fruit. I avoid dealing with the fruit in my life because there's always something that is behind the scene, shaking the scene, and you don't see it. Like it was saying that nobody at what age. It's only grave diggers that starts from the top. Everybody starts from the bottom. Look at all the wedding pictures They were skinny, the two of them. It is when life begins to get them better that they become comfortable. The truth is, what is wrong with this generation that everyone is where they are coming from, their background, parenting, what they saw. And if one is not careful and you are not intentional, you are not desperate to change the narrative. Just say, yourself, Daddy, don't cross your hand. I'm changing this madness. I'm stopping the flow. If you choose to be a transitional person, that is where the issue comes, the goodness of this conversation comes from. You can't marry a man because he has television. Marry him because he has a vision. Vision will buy you television. Now we don't even, how many people watches television now?
I remember that time we had a TV that had on.
Yes, now.
I saw somebody who
said I saw one here.
Somebody because the guy
has a vision.
And it was weird.
Our vision is out of vogue now.
Yes, unfortunately. Now let's look at the way forward.
Yeah.
Now we have found ourselves in this situation.
Mess. It's a mess. In all fairness.
No, if there's another word that we can use with mess. And so we need to restructure. We need to find our feet. We need to get it right. Let me start with Doctor. Doctor,
restructuring starts from awareness. Okay. To me, ignorance is demonic. If you can't trace it, you trace it where you are coming from. You embrace it. There are things you cannot change. Let's think about infidelity to start with. Your husband went out, had a fling, wasted the family resources, and gave birth to a child outside. There are things you have to embrace if you really understand that this marriage is important to me. And two of you have to come to a place where you reach a compromise and telling yourself, yes, we've made a mistake, but we want to right our wrongs. And it's not too late to start afresh. But if the other person is saying no and the other one is saying no, what would you do? That's why they go to them and say, please separate us. We can't help ourselves. But in a situation where the two of you are ready, first solution is insight, knowing, awareness. Number two, are we ready to make it work? I've seen people that have plan B, have alternatives, so they are not really willing because they felt that this person is not meeting my mental, emotional, financial, psychological needs. We've drifted for long. But when two people, that's the solution, because we are talking about financial compatibility, whatever in marriage, two of you must be willing to say, this marriage must work. We'll make it work. We'll pay the price and pay the price and sacrifice. Whatever we have to do, we have to do it.
All right.
But one person, two of you have to agree. That's my own school of thought. Thank you.
In talking about agreements now, in a marriage where we have an accountant and a spender,
yeah,
and the spender is spending recklessly. Now, what legal can the accountant take legal action against the spender? Now, this is not talking about dissolving the marriage now, no. But just to caution, is there a possibility of that happening in the marriage?
No, that's not a cause of action under matrimonial causes.
Okay.
You know, in law, there are already established, recognized complaints that you can make. And that doesn't fit into it. Except you want to dissolve the marriage, you can then talk about intolerable behavior. So, you know, and that is, you are already on your way out. So that person will need a lawyer, they will need a counselor, right? Who can then help them to recognize the need to be accountable. You know, some of us didn't have it, you know, growing up. And when we were single, we were already used to taking independent decisions. Now you are married, you recognize that there's another stakeholder that must agree with you. I always encourage that every couple should have an interest account, a minimum that each person can spend without getting the approval of their partner. And that always depends on the state of your finances. As you grow financially, that minimum increases. But both of you must have an understanding of the threshold, that the moment the amount goes beyond this threshold, is wisdom. The moment the amount goes beyond this threshold, we must get each other's
There is also something that
that's the area of
financial issues.
Why people say that we have to have a joint account.
Well, thank you so much. That was exactly what I wanted to talk about, because it has been raising a lot of issues.
No, the truth is, he has said it all. Joint account, this money, we have 1 million naira as both income, 500. 200 goes into the joint account. And in that joint account, we fix it, we keep it because we want to build a house or something. Of course, it's not much, but I'm just using that. Now, this other money that is in the joint account, maybe we put 800 or 700 in the joint account. This 500 or 200, we are buying groceries, we are paying children's whatever, we are doing everything. Then I have 100,000 that I can give, I can do what I want with. Do you understand? That balance it. So that's joint account. But putting your money, if I don't see, I can't buy sanitary towel, I want to buy my makeup, I want to buy my lipstick, I can't, no.
You make it too cumbersome.
Exactly. So that particular amount of money, you have it, is your money. Now, you can, if you do side hustle, or whatever it is, our money comes in too. Transparency is important because we are building a house. We want to do something. Yes. We want to do something with our money. Let's do it together. But when the man says, it's my money, it's my money, it's your money, the division is there. The Bible says two cannot work together except they agree. Sorry, I'm quoting Bible, but I'm a faith person, so I apologize for that. Yes. The truth is, it takes two to tango. It takes two to stand as one financially and make you. And listen, your health is your marriage. Your wealth is your marriage. Your happiness is your marriage. The happiness of your children is your marriage. There's going to be a time you will not be able to jump and have all the, many rounds that you want to have, that you're just weak. If you're not bothered about your health, I've seen people, they bought property somewhere, they bought another one somewhere. By the time the man dies, 2 weeks after, some men in suit will come and say, this house has been given to Zenith Bank or GTB Bank, thinking they have a roof over their head. You know how many women are out there without roof over their heads because of their husband's wrong financial choices? So if you are not bothered about your health, you should be bothered about your wealth, If you're not bothered about your wealth, you'll be bothered about your happiness. Men are in clubs looking for happiness because of help. What about your old age? All of us, we are growing old. Thank God for.
Pay plenty money because they're just commercializing. I'll just show you the commercial.
You pay.
Wind down the program.
Yeah.
Sir, there are many lawyers who are not expert in family marriage or counseling, and they carry divorce cases, even cases that could have been resolved from the beginning, and they help them to get to court, and they get the marriage dissolved because they always use the term, this marriage has been on whatever breakdown.
Broken down,
irretrievable. That's the word. And once it gets to the courts, it's the discretion of the court to look at it. Look, rather than they killing each other, let's ask them to go their way. What are you in your profession doing about this? There are people who are real estate lawyers, and you find them handling marital cases.
The way I look at it is, in short, actually, when you want to file a divorce petition, there is a certificate as to reconciliation that you have made attempts. There is a certificate you must file together with the petition, stating that you as a lawyer has made attempts to reconcile the parties, but you have not been able to succeed. Because even the Marriage Act is very conservative about dissolving marriages. So they want you to prove that you have done everything possible. Now, but in reality, most lawyers will just file that certificate.
That's what I was going to say.
Because in reality, most of the marriages that come to our offices are already dead. They are only waiting for a final burial ceremony. So that's the truth. For example, many of the marriages that come before people come to your office to seek for divorce. So many of the time they have even lived apart for 4 years.
Exactly.
They have lived apart for 2 years. They've lived apart for 3 years. The situation has snowballed. The bitterness, it has gotten root. It has become a root of bitterness. So at that point, the likelihood and the statistics of the number that you're able to rescue at that point is very low. Because things are, you see, marriage is like the human body. There is a stage the human body can get sick to. That when you even enter hospital and you meet the best consultant, they will tell you that this sickness
stage 4
has gotten to a terminal stage. We wish you came earlier. That's the truth about marriage. It's like the human body. So timely intervention is the message. If you don't go for timely help and the sickness has gotten onto death, even the best counselor, there's nothing.
Doctor, I know you want to say something on this, but because of our time, I want you to just speak to the singles. Now, I know we said so much about married people. Yes.
One word to the singles.
Yes.
The truth is, a life partner is a life one. You can do heart transplants. You can't do head transplants for ladies. Your head is your life. You can't mess with it. You can't take it for granted. So please, I'm going to plead to all younger ones there. Please do compatibility assessment test. Be sure you are mentally, emotionally, psychologically, financially compatible. I have a lot of lawyers that come to me and say, "Ma, I can't do this divorce. Help me to." And with compatibility assessment tests, we treat them and they are fine. Because divorce is not, your children.
It's not even cheap.
Where to elephant fights, grass suffers. When you are divorced, you pass the baton. I know some have gotten to casualty state, but because of the fact of knowledge and technology, to be able to do personality assessment, some people are narcissists. They don't have the capacity to love. What would they do? So ladies, younger ones, please, know better to live better. Do compatibility
Thank you very much. Any final word from you, Barrister, before we call it today?
Final word to what set of people?
To speak to, you're a marriage counselor.
Oh, yes,
so
absolutely.
speak to the singles now.
Yeah.
What would you have to say to the singles who are not married or who are looking forward to getting married?
My most important message to the singles is to recognize that marriage alters your destiny irreversibly. You must not be casual about the choice of who to marry and the journey that takes you to saying I do at the altar or at the marriage registry. And so I will leave them with the same things that I've been emphasizing. The importance of proper training. I run a training for about to weds every year. A training for about to weds, 6 months training. And the truth about it is that it's totally free. I don't charge anything for it. This year, I'm training about 140 couples who are about to wed, and 6 months free of charge. So there's no commercial bill for that because it's like an NGO. So it's important. It's important so that you will have all the victuals for the journey. And then one of the things I emphasize in that training is the importance of a thorough courtship. For a successful marriage.
Okay, Barrister, when you're ready, we can make a jingle for you and then we'll charge you. And then on this note, we have to say a big thank you to our guests on behalf of the corporation, our producers and crew members. Saying a big thank you to Dr. Funke Adetubero.
Thank you
Who's
so
a marriage coach. Thank you so much. We didn't expect less. We enjoyed the time with you this morning. And to Barrister Eniayo. Akintu Joye, Esquire, family lawyer and marriage counselor. We appreciate you. We thank you. We enjoyed the energy we saw at the beginning. Stay till the end and we enjoyed it. Thank you so very much for what you do too and for coming on the program.
Such a pleasure.
All right, we'll go on the break for me, and then when we come back, of course,
it's going to be global update. So please stay with us. We'll be right back.